how to price your product. How to price your product. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're going to be going into how to price your product. How to price your product or service. This is a very, very important subject. This is so important that you want to make sure that you share this video with as many people as possible. You want to make sure that you share this video with as many people possible. This video today is going to be up under my series, Why African Americans and Blacks Need to Start Their Own Businesses. Why African Americans and Blacks Need to Start Their Own Businesses. This video will fall up under that playlist. And this is a very, very important subject because you need to know how to price your product or your service, okay? Very, very important to find this information out. And you first need to start out by determining every person should be trying to put out a high quality product. Every person should be trying to put out a high quality product. Every person should be trying to put out a high quality product. I do, and I know how to do that. And I'm trying to get you to do the same thing. You can't just put together something haphazardly as far as a product or a service that you're trying to put together that you want to eventually sell to a customer, okay? Now, what are some of the things you need to do? Once you put together your product or service, whether it's some music, whether your product or service is selling cakes, or whether your product or service is selling pies, whether your product or service is mowing the lawn, product or service is service such as coming to somebody's house and cleaning it up. You got to always put together a high quality product or service. The high quality product or service is going to put you in a position to be able to price it either at the going rate which everybody else is charging, or you might even be able to price your product or service a little bit higher than what everybody else is charging because it is of such a high quality. You follow what I'm saying? And so to be able to determine what how to price your product or your service, you got to first determine whether the product or service that you have that you're about to put out is average quality or extremely good high quality, okay? And the way to be able to start off by determining that is to start off with your family. It's a good place to start, but I wouldn't just get all my information from the family and then run with it. Number of reasons. You take your product or service, you go to different family members in your family, and you get their opinion about what they think about your product or service. Now, a lot of people come from, I don't know what type of family that you come from. You may have some people, some brothers and sisters, other family members that might be jealous of what you're doing because you're trying to do something. So they may not give you good information, okay? They might say, oh yeah, that's great, even when it's not so great, hoping that you fail. That's one thing. Then you may have some family members, say for instance, you came from a really good family, and your family is very encouraging, very inspiring, very uplifting. So even if you did something that was just mediocre, they're gonna say it's great because they want to encourage you. They're gonna say, yeah, that product that you just put out, that cake or candy that you put out is absolutely great. It's absolutely great. And when it's just mediocre, just average, it's just okay. That's because your family is trying to encourage you, okay? So sometimes it's not always a good thing to only get your information from your family as to how good something is that you're trying to sell, your product or service. You know, some people might say your food is absolutely great. Let's say let's say that you are selling soul food, okay? Let's say you're selling soul food. Well, where I'm at right now, you can get soul food anywhere. So the quality of your soul food's got to be at least as good as everybody else's to charge about the same amount of money that everybody else is charging. So you follow the understanding between how you can price your product or service. If you're selling soul food, your soul food's got to at least taste as good as the best tasting soul food in your area, okay? And then based upon that, once you determine you got a good quality soul food or whatever product or service it is, then you go about pricing it properly, all right? So you can start out with your family, But I would not say just depend 100% on what they tell you. All right. It's a good place to start, but I don't want you to get discouraged. The people you start out with that and start collecting information. But the people you really should go to should be the people on the street, strangers on the street. Take samples with you. For example, you should go on the street. Let's say, for instance, you're about to sell pies, or you're about to sell cheesecakes, or you're about to sell cakes, period. Take some samples of your stuff, go on the street, and have different strangers taste the products that you have to determine whether it's just average quality or whether it's very, very good quality that you have in terms of cakes, pies, and cheesecakes and so on. All right. You take samples out there and you pass them out to different people, and then you get their opinion, what they think about what you're about to sell. What do you think about this cake? What do you think about the cake? What do you think about the cheesecake? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Okay. You ask them these questions. And then when you don't just put the stuff in your head. Now me, if I was selling something, a lot of times I'll put stuff in my head. Okay. But take the information that you get from the strangers and write the stuff down on some paper. Okay. This person said, yeah, it was okay. This other person said, the cake or so was very, very good. And you compile all this information together. You get all this information together from all the different strangers that you talk to. And after you got all this information together from all the different strangers that you talk to, the samples that you're giving out, and write down what each person is saying about the samples. Is the cake good? Man, you need to write down, if they say, man, this is great, write down how many people say, man, this is great. And what were they specifically eating that they said was great. And then ask them, is there anything that I could do to improve upon this cake or whatever product or service that you have? Is there anything that I can do to improve on this? Okay. And that's what you do. You mainly want to collect information on what people think about your product or your service. And based upon their responses, that'll let you know. And you're mainly talking to strangers. You're mainly talking to strangers on the street to get their opinion. After you've accumulated all this information, and these people on the street are going to let you know whether you got a product which is just okay, or whether you have a product which is high quality, or just okay, or whether you need to do something to it to make improvements in your product, okay, or your service. So your strangers on the street are going to let you know that. Once you find out what level of a product or service that you have, whether it's just a mediocre product or service or as good as everybody else's product or service, or whether it's a high quality product or service, that will let you know what you can be able to price in terms of your product or your service. So let's say you have a product that's just as good as everybody else's cakes and pies. Well, if it's just as good as everybody else's cakes and pies, you know that you can price it along the lines of what everybody else is charging. You follow what I'm saying? You can price your product or service pretty much just as much as what everybody else is charging, all right? Now, if you happen to find out that you have a high quality product, then you might be able to charge just a little bit more for your product or your service because you have a high quality product. So let me give you an example of what has happened recently with a person I've seen. There were two people. There was a lady that had this building that had all types of cakes and pies, and she had high quality cakes and pies, okay? She not only had high quality cakes and pies of the inside of the building that she was renting or so, high quality. I mean, very, very, very good environment to sell her cakes and pies and stuff and cookies and stuff like that. Everything that she did on the inside was absolutely excellent. Everything she did on the inside was absolutely excellent, along with the high quality cakes and pies and cheesecakes and stuff. And so this lady, because she did all that, she had a high quality product, and she also priced the quality product a very reasonable price. And because she priced it very, very reasonably, she had people coming in there 7 days a week, buying cakes and pies, okay? She had a high quality product, she priced it right, and she had customers like 7 days a week, okay? I've observed this. Now here's a guy, so that business for whatever particular reason has shut down. So here's another guy that picked up that same building, and this person this is a guy, had cheesecakes. Now I'm a cheesecake expert. I've been eating cheesecake since I was a kid. So I know good tasting cheesecake. I know store-bought cheesecake tastes, and very, very good homemade cheesecake taste. All right. So this guy, he decided he's gonna sell his cheesecake. So the guy decided to say, okay, well, he kind of like overpriced his cheesecake. And I asked him, I told him, I said, well, your cheesecake is a little expensive for the little cheesecake that you're giving. Oh, and I said, I reduced the price, because he said when he was downtown, he was charging $5 more. Well, that's downtown, okay? You're in the neighborhoods now. No, first of all, nobody's gonna pay $15 for that little bitty cheesecake that you got. That's number one. Number two, the price which you are offering your cheesecake is still expensive for the neighborhoods, all right? But I was trying to tell him, but he didn't want to listen. Then I tasted his cheesecake. His cheesecake was just so-so. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm a cheesecake expert. I know what good cheesecake tastes like. I know what bad cheesecake tastes like. I know what okay cheese. This guy has some cheesecake that he's selling. He first of all is selling it overpriced, all right, number one. Number two, his cheesecake is just okay. That's the first cheesecake I ever had in my life that tasted like it needed sugar. His cheesecake needed sugar. I want to taste this cheesecake. I supported him. I wanted to taste this cheesecake. And I'm like, okay, this cheesecake is mediocre cheesecake, number one. Number two, because it's mediocre, he should not have been overcharging for the cheesecake. But he was overcharging for the cheesecake. So I know that he's gonna be out of business real soon. He's gonna be out of business, all right? So, I tried to kind of tell the man he was overcharging, and I didn't want to tell him about his recipe. Some people get offended by you telling him this. Well, he didn't do really good research on his cheesecake, because his cheesecake needs, this the first time in my life I ever tasted cheesecake that needed sugar, okay? So the point that I'm making in terms of how to price your product, you first determine what the quality of your product is. And that will determine what you'll be able to price it for. But if you come out with a high quality product, but you price it reasonably, you probably won't be able to make enough of those products. You follow what I'm saying? That's what you want to do. You want to price your product, price it at a reasonable price to where if people want to buy it, they don't just come and buy one, they come buy two at a time. Or they come and buy three at a time, because you are making your high quality product affordable for everybody else. Okay? But I tried to tell this guy that. He didn't want to listen, but that's okay. I don't have no problem. I already know he's not going to be in business for long. He's selling okay cheesecake, mediocre cheesecake that's overpriced. So a person who came in and would have possibly bought two of them little cheesecakes, if he had priced it right, was only gonna buy one. And once they taste it, it's just mediocre cheesecake, they're not gonna come back and buy no more. Because they're gonna say two things. Number one, it's overpriced. Number two, it's just mediocre. It's not even as good as the rest of everybody's cheesecakes, okay? So this is what I'm talking about as far as how to price your product based upon, number one, determining whether it's a high quality product that you're serving, high quality product or service that you're selling. And number two, based upon that, how you're pricing it. All right, so basically in a nutshell, this video is gonna go up under the series, Why African Americans and Blacks Need to Start Their Own Businesses. And people need to know this on how to price your product or service. I gave you an example. I gave you plenty examples of what you can do in terms of pricing your product or your service. All right, so would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe, would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe, and peace.